Singdaptive review put up on the website just the other day, and this is the second follow-up video to that with my wife, Jacqueline. She did a Singdaptive exchange as well with a few lessons, and the reason I wanted to do two different videos basically was because I have different background with singing than Jacqueline does. I have different goals that I was after, so that's why I wanted to do two videos, was basically because there's two different sides that we could show. So I thought I'd just start just by saying, like, what is Singdaptive? I'll put a link in the description below and a little link up here that you can follow. It's an online vocal coaching platform where you can go and fill out kind of a questionnaire, and they ask you a lot of different questions at first, so it might seem a little daunting at first, but once you fill it out, it really helps the instructors at Singdaptive to understand what your background is, your goals and experiences are in the past with singing, and how they can kind of use that to form an intuitive and a personalized vocal coaching session with you. So that's what Singdaptive really is at its core. You can set it up for free to try out as well before committing to anything. But I just wanted to get right into what Jacqueline's experience was using Singdaptive. This is my wife, Jacqueline. And despite the fact that I've been doing all the talking, she actually does have her own voice. Anyway, so I just wanted to ask her a few questions about what she thought about it, what her experience was. And just really quickly, I'll tell you what my singing goals were, and then she can explain what her singing goals were, so you kind of understand why we're doing the two different videos. So my singing goals and what I was after with Singdaptive was I wanted to get better at being creative with songwriting, obviously vocal lines and things like that, because I write my own music and I also record other bands as well. And then the other thing that I wanted to get good at was knowing what my vocal range is, because I don't want to write vocal patterns for my own music that I can't sing in 5 years from now because my throat is not exercised. So I want to be able to sing things within my vocal range to make things easier on me going down the road, I guess, really. Those were my singing goals. What were you after?
Well, I don't perform and I don't do recording, obviously. I sing recreationally, which means that I sing when I'm cooking and I sing when I'm walking around the house. And there are a number of notes that I can't quite hit properly. I wanted to really be able to nail those. I wanted to just have a little bit more confidence in my vocal control when I do hit notes that I'm uncertain about. And I wanted to extend my range, but it sounds like that might not be possible. So anyways, those were my goals.
Oh, okay, there you go. So well, I guess we'll get into that in a second. Yeah, and I guess the other thing is I sing totally different music than she does too. We have different musical likes and dislikes. I like rock and hard rock and metal and some alternative stuff and some 80s and 90s like rock music, hair metal. And she loves country first and foremost. Country. 90s country. There you go. Yeah, so we have different likes and dislikes too. So that'll mean different singing styles. So what was your very first impression of it when you first started?
The software is really easy to use. It flows easily. The exchanges, like, you understand how it flows. If you're familiar with Zoom, which who isn't by now, it's easy to understand how to record yourself and upload those videos. That's how I did it. Overall, I felt it was really intuitive, and I feel like most people could understand it quite easily.
Yeah, so when I started it, I did feel at first, like when I started filling out the questionnaire, I know we did them together, like we started them at the same time. You finished yours way before I did because she types at like 100 miles a minute and I don't. But I did feel as we were going through it that I was like, wow, this is like this is really fine-tuned and really deep and really getting to the core of things.
I think my longest exchange took 20 to 30 minutes at most. And then some of the shorter ones were, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they were very reasonable.
Yeah. And that's, for us, that's important because, like, we have a family of 5.5, I guess you could say. We've got 3 little kids and a dog. We both work full-time jobs. We're busy with our congregation. So there's lots of things that can eat up our time, I guess you could say. So what did you learn? Like, what did you find was the most valuable takeaways?
The last exchange I had was actually the best by far. So the focus I was given to work on was breath control. Apparently I'm a terrible breather. And it was really interesting to learn and to practice these exercises that just taught me a little bit more about how to control my breath, how to use it to increase my power, to increase my control. It was fun, actually. I had lots of fun, but I learned quite a bit just in a few short minutes, which was really neat.
So what's your favorite part of the program that you took so far?
My favorite part was that my instructor, she took the videos that she had assigned me, which were from other instructors, and they were just generic, but she took those videos and then she applied them to me personally. And she said, here's how you apply this to your singing, and here's how I want you to practice, and here's how I want you to show me. She really made it personal. She made me understand how it would benefit me. And I really felt like I learned so much just from that. Okay,
so what was your least favorite?
The beginning was really daunting. It was a little bit nerve-wracking. Like I said, I don't perform professionally. I've never performed in front of an audience. So having to, record a video of myself singing, having to upload that and see my imperfections and hear my imperfections. You know me, I'm a perfectionist. That was really humbling and it was scary. I also found the first exchange or two to be a little bit like, well, how do I apply this? It was good, but I just didn't at that point see how it applied to me and how I could use it.
Oh, okay. It's one thing to sing in your car with the stereo full blast and everyone sounds good in that scenario, right? Because the music is drowning your voice out and you find a way to kind of blend in with it. But yeah.
Each time I submitted a video, it was just like, okay, I've done this before, I can do it again. And it helps that the instructors, they're just like, that was great. Good job. Here's what you can do.
Yes.
To improve it.
Yeah, no doubt. They didn't respond to me and say, oh, Jesse, that was terrible, man. You want to do that one again? Would you recommend this to anyone else?
I would. Listening to you, I think anybody, no matter what your goals are, I would. From my perspective, if you are a non-performing shower singer like me, I'd say do it. But stick with it, because at first, it's a little scary and it's a little bit hard to understand how to apply the techniques to yourself personally. But I really loved it. To be honest, I'm gonna purchase another month for sure, because I feel like I learned so much in just a few short exchanges, and I'm excited to see how much I could learn in just a few more. I feel like there's just so much more improvement I could make, and the price is really reasonable. So I feel like the time commitment is really reasonable too. And you already spoke about that and about how busy our lives are. And yes, it was still hard to fit it in, because anything's hard to fit in, but it's reasonable, and that's why I'm considering it. Wanting to purchase another month. Like, I've told you for years that I'd like to take vocal lessons, and it's just like, can I really commit an hour a week to, go somewhere, or, just pay a lot of money to have somebody come here. And this, just to be able to do it in the comfort of my own home when I have a minute was it was really helpful. I appreciated that part.
On top of that, it's one-on-one tailored lessons for what your goals are. And our goals are different. I had my own things that I wanted to work on. You had your things you wanted to work on. The whole thing about this was I wanted to kind of be a fly on the wall and and listen to her doing the Exchangely sessions. And I did that as much as I could without being creepy about it, obviously. I mean, like, wasn't like, had a cup on the door, on the outside of the door, listening to you do your tasks. But it was interesting, like, just hearing you go over the tasks again and go over it again and go over it again until you felt comfortable with what you were doing. Like, I could kind of tell when you first started doing a task where you had to start recording yourself singing, until you finished that exercise. It was even just those short little exercises, you could see, well, you could hear the difference, right? Any final thoughts on it? I just threw you under the bus.
No, it's all good. I would say don't hesitate because you don't have the right equipment either. I don't know if you've chatted about that in your other video, but I just used a laptop with a webcam. I didn't use a microphone. I didn't use, anything like that. It was just the webcam acting as the microphone. It was nothing fancy. So, whatever equipment you have, even if you're just working off your phone, is probably perfectly fine.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want to give it a try, again, I'll put the link in the description below. So you can just click on that link and it'll take you to Singdaptive's site and try it out for yourself. Thank you for being here and keep making music. Cut.